Thanks. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the January 23rd meeting of City of Dauphin Council. I'd like to call the meeting to 5 p.m. I'd like to read the acknowledgement that we acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. I'd like to move right into the agenda. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. We have one addition, 9F, a letter of support from Youth Employment Experience Grant from Dauphin Rec Services. All those in favor, or any questions on that? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as amended. All those, thank you. And moved by Councillor Bellemare and seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves the circulated the minutes of the following meeting, and that would be the regular council meeting of January 9th, 2023. Favor, thank you. Next is the consent agenda. And we have a number of different items and actions for this meeting. Got a couple of proclamations. So the first proclamation is Bell Let's Talk Day. I think Councillor Daly, if you mind reading that, please.
Proclamation, whereas January 25th, 2023 marks the 13th annual Bell Let's Talk Day, a day of conversation and support for mental health. And whereas in Canada, 1 in 2 people struggling with their mental health are not getting the help they need. And whereas this year's Bell Let's Talk campaign theme is Let's Create Positive Change, which promotes ways that we can all create meaningful change and take action by doing one or more of the following. Choose a mental health organization to learn about or support. Help a friend, family member, or colleague struggling with their mental health by learning how to support them. Ask about how your workplace or community is creating change for mental health. Nurture your own well-being by practicing and learning mental health strategies. Get involved in a mental health initiative or organize an event to support mental health. Engage in conversation about mental health to fight stigma. Share your actions using hashtag Bell Let's Talk and help inspire others to join the movement to create positive change. City of Dauphin encourages you to join the conversation through hashtag Bell Let's Talk, calls, texts, and social media interactions to drive Bell's donation to mental health past their commitment of $155 million. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim January 25th, 2023 as Bell Let's Talk Day.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. And we have a second proclamation regarding Heart Month. Deputy Mayor Laughlin.
Thank you. Whereas heart disease, stroke, and related conditions take a life in Canada every 5 minutes, and whereas powered by donors and volunteers, the Heart and Stroke Foundation's mission is to prevent disease, save lives, and promote recovery as they strive to tangibly improve the health of every family in Canada every day. And whereas February is Heart Month in Canada, during which the Heart and Stroke Canvassing Campaign normally takes place to support ongoing life-saving heart disease and stroke research, health promotion, and advocacy. And whereas we applaud and commend the thousands of volunteers, staff, and researchers of Heart and Stroke for their dedication and commitment and wish them continued success. And now we, therefore, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim February 2023 as Heart Month, and that is dated at the City of Dauphin in the province of Manitoba this 23rd day of January 2023 and signed by Mayor Dave Boziak.
Thank you. The next item on the consent agenda, outstanding receivable accounts added to taxes. Be it resolved that the following receivable accounts be added to taxes. Roll 00438. 138 4th Avenue Southwest, weed control costs and demolition permit in the amount of $526.66. Roll number 0074400. 108 3rd Avenue Northeast, weed control costs of $858.96. Roll number 021340 at 602 Railway Avenue, weed control costs in the amount of $201.04. And roll number 0231450 on West Street, weed control costs to the value of $598.27 for a total receivable amount of $2,184.93. Director of Finance and the Tax Clerk. We have a number of filing items. The Association of Manitoba Municipalities, their member advisory, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, their newsletter, January 19th, and their FCM Connect of January 10th and January 17th, and the FCM Voice, January 9th and January 16th. We also have a Manitoba News release regarding the Premier and some staffing changes, the Prairie Mountain Health newsletter for January 2023, and the nomination for annual historic awards from the Office of the Lieutenant Governor. And these are recommended by the Mayor and the City Manager. And moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, that be it resolved that all items listed and read under item 5 consent agenda be approved and form part of these minutes. Any questions or comments from anyone? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly and seconded by Councillor Bellemare, be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the January 23rd meeting from the ICT Manager dated December 2022. Any questions, comments regarding the report from the ICT Manager? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried, or opposed? Carried. Getting ahead of myself here. Don't want to do that, do we, Mr. Bailey? No. Moved by Councillor Ray and seconded by Councillor Daly, be it resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by Council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. We have checks, 68 checks, 30913 to 30980, for a total value of $1,238,258.43. There were no voided checks in the current range, and the voided checks in the past range. Check number 28435 for $60.97. Check number 28533 for $48.79. Check number 28591 for $755. Check number 28804 for $36.59. Check number 29377 for $36.96. Check number 29810 for $63.82. Check number 30718 for $625, and check number 30861 for $60.58. There were no electronic payments to void. So moved by Deputy, pardon? So we have to, sorry, to just call any questions or comments regarding that? Sorry, Councillor Bellemare.
Yeah, in the accounts for approval, there was a flagpole at CAB. What is CAB? It's obviously an abbreviation for a location, but. Okay.
Which check? I have it open right here. Which check number is it, Councillor Bellemare?
I'll find it. I just wrote down flagpole for CAB because you guys are always on top of things, so I didn't
Was
think
it
you
paid to CAB?
Well, it was a check paid, and in the memo it said that it was a flagpole. So
Okay, I think it was from flags.
We have 2 new flagpoles outside.
we did those in the summer.
Okay, I'll look into it. I'll find that.
I'll find the
for you,
check
okay?
number for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks, Charlotte, for that heads up for me. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements before the PSAB adjustments for the period ending November 30th, 2022, including the general fund balance sheet and general fund income statement, and the utility fund balance sheet and utility fund income statement. Any questions or comments regarding those two reports? Statements? Nope, seeing none. Oh. Thank you. Opposed, none. Carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo and seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the reserve report for November 2022. Questions or comments? No. All those in favor? Opposed? None. Carried. There was a follow-up? Yep. Sure. Back up for a sec.
Yeah, so regarding Councillor Bellemare's question, it was a payment to a contractor, and that was for the installation of the 5 flagpoles at the Civic Administration Building, City Hall.
That's here.
CAB.
Thanks, Charla. So moved by Councillor Daly and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be resolved that Council accepts as information the budget variance analysis for November 2022. Questions or comments regarding this report? Sure. Comment from Charlotte.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So our Director of Finance every month starting in about August takes a look at our budgeted amounts and compares it to what we've spent to date. And as you can see from this report, he's completed November 2022. He has been working on December 2022, and that will round out our year. And historically, we've had surpluses, give or take $300,000, and I think our biggest one in the last 10 years has been just over $900,000. I've got some preliminary discussions with him that it's a lot closer to surplus or very, very small surplus this year, and a lot of that has to do with just inflation. Our ability to do a lot of projects, and two, inflation making those projects cost more than what we thought, and general operating, like we've all seen in our personal finances, increases in those two. So we should know, I would anticipate by the next council meeting, what the 2022 year-end finances will look like.
Thank you, Charlotte. Any questions or comments now based on Charlotte's summary of that? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? No? Good. That one is carried as well. Thank you very much. Moved by Councillor Ray and seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following engineering report for the January 23rd, 2023 regular council meeting, and that's from the Director of Public Works and Operations for January. Mike, did you want to speak to anything in that report?
I don't have a whole lot. We've been busy with some of our big capital projects and getting some of the background work done and moving ahead with those right now. So,
okay. Any questions for the Director of Operations? No? Okay, then thank you. Call for the question then. All those in favor? Oh, thank you. Next motion, or the next motion, moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that Council accepts as information the following engineering staff report for the January 23rd regular council meeting from the building inspector for December 2022. Any questions or comments regarding that report? Councillor Bellemare?
Just a comment. I see that the permit for the Vermilion growers is on there, and it's over $11 million, which is a really nice price tag. And the plan is apparently in mid-April that the tomato plants are coming and growing will begin. So that's not too far off, and it's pretty exciting.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Opposed? None. Carried. Okay. What's that? I'm moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by, I think it's Councillor Sobring. Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
Thank you. A little clarification for me there. Be resolved, the council accepts as information the minutes from the following committees. The Intermountain Watershed District, the regular board meeting minutes of November 16th and December 21st. The Communities in Bloom, regular committee meeting from November the 24th, and the Dauphin District Allied Arts Council, their regular board meeting from December 13th, 2022. Many councillors have questions or comments regarding that, those reports and minutes. Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the Planning Act requires that proposals to subdivide property receive municipal council approval with subsequent final conditional approval from the municipal relations. And whereas at the regular meeting of November 28th, 2022, council granted conditional approval for an application to subdivide parts southwest 1/4 section 142519, lots 4, 5, and 6, plan 51506, which is 216, 220, and 224 Hawthorne Avenue East, for owner Dr. Jillian Hungarian Medical Corporation, care of Jillian Hungarian, an applicant, Balkan and Kilchickie Surveys, care of Greg Molnar, the Community Planning Services file 4411-22-7719, application 22178. Be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated January 20th from Charlotte Dillabaugh, Regional Manager, Community Planning, Manitoba Municipal Relations, advising that Community Planning has approved the above noted subdivision application pending conditions to be satisfied within 2 years from the date of their January 20th, 23 letter. Any discussion, questions, or comments regarding this resolution? Seeing none, indicate all in favor. Anyone opposed? I see none. Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas the Planning Act requires that proposals to subdivide property receive municipal council approval with subsequent final conditional approval from municipal relations. And whereas at the regular meeting of October 17th, 2022, council granted conditional approval for an application to subdivide part section 14, section 4, part southeast quarter section 42519, lot 4, plan 65947, for owner Highway 10 Development Limited, care of Lance Delorier, and applicant Balkan and Kilchickie Surveys, care of Greg Molnar. That planning services file 4411-22-7715, application 21065. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the correspondence dated November 9th from Charlotte Dillabaugh, Regional Manager, Community Planning, Manitoba Municipal Relations, advising that Community Planning has approved the above noted subdivision application pending conditions to be satisfied within 2 years from the date of their November 9th, 2022 letter. Comments, questions? Councillor Daly?
So that's in the area of Main Street South and Eric Irwin Way, between Right Side Equipment and the Best Western.
Any other questions or comments? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated January 10th from Joelle Jensen, a teacher at Ecole Howden, Winnipeg, describing a cross-curricular project for which grade 6 French immersion students were asked to write a letter to a Canadian city or town of their choice proposing a roadside monument that would benefit the chosen community. Further be resolved that council accepts as information letters written in French from Maison Place and Violet Strong, grade 6 French immersion students at Ecole Howden proposing roadside monuments that represent our community and attract visitors. Further be resolved that council recommends Mr. Place and Ms. Strong for their ability to express effectively their ideas in French for a target audience, and that the mayor will respond to the letters with help. Questions or comments?
Just checking to see if we're becoming officially bilingual or anything here.
Unfortunately, no. But Councillor Bellemare, I'm going to reach out to help from you on that one. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. I'm sure that Lisa might be able to help, potentially, probably. Thanks. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Sticilo. Whereas each year council reviews the citizen appointments for external committees and boards for the next term, be it resolved that council appoints Lynn Smith as citizen representative to the Dauphin Hospital Foundation for a one-year term expiring December 31st, 2023. Questions or comments on this resolution? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Sticilo. Whereas the City of Dauphin Bylaw 3323 standards for mobile homes only provides for mobile homes not exceeding 10 years of age, be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated December 28th, 2022 from Len Lundstead, the owner of Triangle Mobile Home Park, requesting approval to move a mobile home older than 10 years to lot number 3274 Triangle Road. Further be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated January 16th from the building inspector reviewing the application and recommending that council approves the application to move in a 2002 mobile home with conditions. Further be it resolved that council approves the request from Len Lundstead to move in said mobile home to number 3274 Triangle Road with these following conditions. The owner obtains a development permit from the City of Dauphin for the moved-in mobile home, that the owner obtains a demolition permit for the removal of the existing mobile home on lot 3274 Triangle Road, which is being relocated outside of Dauphin, that the owner ensures the site for the mobile home complies with CSA standard Z240.10.1-94, site preparation, foundation, and anchorage of mobile homes. The owner does not allow any structural connections for additions. And when the mobile home is moved onto the site and upon inspection, if the mobile home appears to be modified, a provincial safety standards inspection will be required to certify the mobile home. The owner will be referred to correct any deficiency discovered to allow the mobile home to stay in the mobile home park. Any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this resolution? Seeing none, based on the recommendations of our building inspector, I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, call that motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas the province of Manitoba's Building Sustainable Communities Grant provides a contribution of 50% of eligible project costs up to $75,000 and up to $300,000 for large capital projects that help to build thriving sustainable communities in Manitoba. And whereas the Dauphin and District Snowmobile Club is a dedicated volunteer-based organization that provides a valuable service to outdoor enthusiasts in Dauphin and the surrounding area by maintaining over 300 kilometers of designated trails and warm-up shelters. Be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated January 10th from Alice Saholka, Grant Coordinator, Dauphin and District Snowmobile Club, requesting a letter supporting the organization's application to the Building Sustainable Communities Grant Program for funding to prepare a site and construct a pole shed to store the organization's groomers, snow machines, sleds, and signs. Further be it resolved that council appreciates the efforts of the Snowmobile Club in strengthening the sport of snowmobiling in our area and approves a letter supporting their application to the Building Sustainable Communities Grant Program for funding to prepare this project. Questions, comments, or concerns regarding this request? None, seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the province's Building Sustainable Grant Program provides contributions of up to $75,000 and up to $300,000 for large capital projects. And whereas the Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal Corporation provides critical services for Dauphin's most vulnerable, including breakfast, hot meals, laundry, and shower services daily, and an overnight drop-in 7 days a week, be it resolved that Council accepts this information correspondence dated January 13th from Amanda Novak, the Executive Director of Neighborhood Renewal Corporation, requesting a letter of supporting their application for funding to renovate the roof at their building at 37 3rd Avenue Northwest. Be it resolved that Council commends the new Renewal Corporation for the continued work in identifying and addressing the needs of Dauphin's homeless and under-resourced population and approves the letter supporting their application to this program. Any further questions, comments, or otherwise for this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Stakalo, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the RCMP provides policing for the City of Dauphin through the Municipal Police Service Agreement, which is a 25-year agreement covering the period April 1st, 2012 to March 31st, 2036. And whereas in 2019, as per Article 5.0 of the Municipal Police Service Agreement, Council approved an increase in the complement of RCMP members assigned to the City of Dauphin from 14 to 15, with the additional members assigned to the investigative support team, which focused on reducing drug and gang-related crime in our community. And whereas in 2020, the investigative support team became the Crime Reduction Enforcement Support Team, CREST, a policing program funded by the province elsewhere in Manitoba, but funded by the city for the CREST member in Dauphin. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated January 20th from the City Manager, recommending that the RCMP member currently assigned to the Crime Reduction Enforcement Support Team be transferred from this position into general policing assigned to the City of Dauphin, with the number of RCMP members assigned to the City of Dauphin to remain at 15. Further be it resolved that Council agrees with the City Manager's recommendation and approves the transfer of Dauphin's CREST member to general policing, with the total number of RCMP members assigned to the city to be reviewed upon completion of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. Any comments, questions, or Charlotte, if there's any background information you want to support that?
Sure. So over the years, we've seen changes in numbers of the RCMP complement in Dauphin, and most recently increase in 2019 to 15 members. And with our preliminary discussions about the community safety and well-being plan being developed this year, and with possible changes, we wanted to take a look at that complement and see where the members could be most effective. Now, considering that our municipality is the only municipality that funds one of these CREST positions, we wanted to bring that back into the complement and let the province fund that work. Also, based on that municipal police service agreement, it could be up to 1 year to reallocate people or move people or add or subtract. Now, I think that we're in a very good position right now because we're not having anybody move. So no doubt this position will be able to be moved from the CREST pool to the general policing pool rather quickly. But we did have to plan for a potential year to make this move. And then later this year, when we have our community safety and well-being plan developed, we can take a look at those recommendations and make sure that 15 members are the right number, is the right number for us. And if not, then what do we do differently going forward?
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments from Council on this resolution? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the city has leased office space at CNR Place to Manitoba Justice Prosecution Services, 2,957 square feet on the second and third floors and 280 square feet of storage space since July 2011 at a rate of $24.22 per square foot for office space and $5 per square foot for storage. And whereas the lease term for this space ended in June 2021 and has since been in holdover on a month-to-month basis, be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated December 20th, 2022 from Diane Berg, Real Estate Officer for Manitoba Central Services, and a memorandum dated January 4th from the Deputy City Manager recommending approval of Manitoba Justice's proposed lease renewal for a 3-year term at an increased rental rate of $25.72 per square foot, with all the other lease terms, including storage, to remain the same. Further be it resolved that council agrees with the Deputy City Manager's recommendation and authorizes the offer to extend the lease between the city and the province for office and storage space assigned to Manitoba Justice Prosecution Services at CNR Place to be signed and sealed by the City Manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Any further comments or information regarding this resolution? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed, seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas at the regular meeting of September 12th, 2005, Council passed a resolution authorizing clerical staff to be reimbursed for tuition fees, books, and travel expenses required by the University of Manitoba for courses in the Certificate in Manitoba Municipal Administration program. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated January 18th, 2023 from Cassandra Durston, Office Assistant, requesting approval for her enrollment in the Manitoba Municipal Administrators Program at the University of Manitoba. Further be it resolved that Council reimburses Cassandra Durston for tuition fees, books, and travel expenses required by the university for courses in the program upon successful completion of each course in that program. Questions or comments regarding this? Councillor Bellemare?
Just a comment. I think it's great that Cassandra has made this decision and is stepping forward, and we have several people on staff that have either been trained in this or are in the process of.
Yes, so I have, as well as our deputy, and I'm completed the coursework. Deputy City Manager is working through it, and I believe 1, 2, 3 or 4 frontline staff have completed it, and there's at least 3 others that have, or they're working through it, and there's 3 others that have already completed. So it's a great course. It's a great series of courses and a great certificate program.
Well, and then the people who are working for the city just have a wealth of information and understanding of what's what in order to offer good services to our citizens. So great news. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from any of the council? Seeing none, I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the Canadian Parks and Recreation Association has secured Government of Canada funding via the Youth Employment and Skills Strategy to support job placements for youth, particularly those facing barriers to employment. And whereas the CPRA Youth Employment Program provides 100% wage subsidies for work placements that will create opportunities for youth to gain skills, knowledge, and experience in the community parks and recreation sector, be it resolved that Council accepts this information. Correspondence dated January 23rd from Dauphin Rec Services General Manager requesting a letter in support of their application to the CPRA Youth Employment Program to find summer students to work on recreation projects in Dauphin. Further be it resolved that Council recognizes the benefit of providing rec worker opportunities for Dauphin's youth and authorizes a letter of support to Rec Services to the CPRA Youth Employment Program. Questions or comments relating to this? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Here. Moved by Councillor Sticalo, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that bylaw 1-2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to regulate the proceedings and conduct of council and committees, therefore be now read a first time. Questions or comments? None. Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed and none, so that would be carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Sticalo. Be it resolved that bylaw 2-202 or /2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to govern the organization of the City of Dauphin and the committees thereof, be now read a first time. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that all expenses will be borne by the city or council and senior administration to the event invitations listed below. We have 3 different events: the Dauphin Derailleur Cycle Club Appreciation Evening on February the 3rd, the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Education Sessions from February 17th to March the 3rd, and an event being sponsored by the Dauphin Derailleur Cycle Club called Momenta, but provided by Momenta on February 20th, Louis Riel Day 2023. Questions, comments on this motion? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. Carried. Moved by Councillor Sticalo, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the community event listed below, and that's from the Dauphin Kings, the Ukrainian Night, January 27th, 2023. Questions, comments, information regarding this? Seeing none, call for the question. In favor? Opposed? None. Carried. And moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sticalo. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the council reports for the regular council meeting of January 23rd, 2023. So we'd like to go through those reports, and since we started on my right at the last meeting, we'll start on my left. And Councillor Sobring, you ready to go?
Thanks, Mayor Bosiak. Since the last meeting, I have attended 2 Riverside Cemetery subcommittee meetings, Dauphin District Handyvan subcommittee meeting, and just recently today a economic development meeting. So probably the most exciting of those 3 things was the economic development committee meeting, and it just a lot of exciting things happening. We're going to have a busy year, and I think that under Mayor Bosiak's guidance as chair of that committee, I expect big things to come from it. So I guess stay tuned for more, but it was a very productive meeting, and I'm looking forward to see what the outcomes are going to be.
Thank you, Councillor Sobring. Deputy Mayor Loughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, January 9th, regular council meeting here at City Hall. On the 12th, a few days later, RM liaison meeting. That was at the RM office. Really good meeting, good chat, good get together. Just looking forward to continuing our strong relationship with the rural municipality over the later in the day here at City Hall. I attended the Parkland Chamber Board meeting. Then 4 days later on the 16th, the Planning and Priorities meeting here at City Hall. That was followed 3 days later by the Communities in Bloom meeting here at City Hall. And on Friday last week, we had an employee relations meeting here at City Hall too. And that's it for me. That ends my report.
Thank you. Councillor Sticalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, just was in attendance for the January 9th regular council meeting, and then the following Monday on January 16th for the Planning and Priorities meeting. I had no committee meetings or other sessions going on, but I think there'll be a few coming up very shortly. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Emma, student report.
Thank you. So our student council will be having a meeting on February 2nd to plan the rest of the year. So that will be 3 hours. that we'll spend throughout the day just to figure out what we want to do for the rest of the school year. Exams at the DRCSS are happening from January 30th to February 1st. There's a North Parkland Area Council meeting tonight, which I will be attending after this one. For Mountain View 4-H Club, they will be having their communications event on February 20th, and our next meeting will be January 25th.
Thanks very much. Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, Emma's busier than we are. Okay, for council work, I attended several committee meetings recently, 2 subcommittee meetings for the cemetery, Parkland Regional Library, Watson Center Board, Communities in Bloom Employee Relationship Committees, and Planning and Priorities. So while Councillor Stakila wasn't going to meetings, I was, and so it's your turn in the next 2 weeks. Community events, on January 17th, I attended a Co-op Family Toboggan Run meeting, and as you likely know, construction on our hill will begin this spring when weather permits. And up to this point, committee members have been writing funding applications to get this whole initiative off the ground. And we're now preparing a sponsorship package so local businesses and individuals can also support this great new project. Now that the hill is funded, we can work on other pieces in the plan for Mama-Wee Park. So keep an eye out for the release of the sponsorship opportunities coming out later this spring. And as mentioned, this Friday's Ukrainian Night at the Cup. This is the community's fave winter hockey event. So the Kings played really well on Friday, defeating the West Division leaders, the Weiwei Wolverines 5-1. So the hockey will be sensational. And did I mention what? The Ukrainian food at the concession and fireworks and the new Ukrainian jerseys being auctioned and so forth. So it's going to be a great evening. And also on February 4th, a hyperthermia fat bike race is happening at Salah Northgate. So check out information on the Manitoba Cycling Association website, mbcycling.ca. They have bikes to lend out on a first-come, first-served basis, and first-timers are especially encouraged to try out this great sport. And also, I'd like to give some kudos to Janelle Thompson, who works at City Hall. She does an awesome job of not only keeping us organized on the Communities in Bloom Committee, but giving us some great ideas to consider. So I'd like to thank her for the skillful work that she does for us, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. January 9th, I attended the last regular council meeting. On the 11th, I took part in the webinar for newly elected officials. On January 16th in the afternoon, I participated in the emergency measures training held at the fire hall. And then that evening, I also attended the Planning and Priorities Committee meeting held here in council chambers. Today, this afternoon, I was present at my first committee meeting with the Dauphin at-Risk Teen Committee, which took place at the Friendship Center. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since January 9th, I attended the Chamber Luncheon on January 10th. Found it very informative. I attended the MAMAC workshop emergency with Councillor Ray and Mr. Mayor and Charla, City Manager. Also that evening, Priorities and Planning meeting. Took in a municipal relations webinar on council roles and responsibilities. And I've met with a number of frontline staff, sort of one-on-one individually, just throughout the last couple of weeks to stay in touch with what's going on sort of at the street level with vulnerable people. And unfortunately, I'm going to miss the planning meeting tomorrow and the Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal meeting on Wednesday because I'm in Winnipeg at Disaster Management Conference. That's it.
Thank you. I'll just add a couple things just to stretch this out a little bit for Sean's benefit. Actually, no, I attended many of the meetings that many of you were at and a few others that some of you weren't. And it's been my hope and actually intention to have us carefully analyze our involvement in all of these meetings and mostly to see the value in them and the value that we add to them and the value that we get from them. So I'm hoping that as we carry on, that it may not necessarily be the number of meetings we attend, but the value that we get out of them that's truly important. And so I'm asking each and every one of you, as I've chatted with you formally and more informally, to be very thoughtful in how we're engaged in all of these different discussions, to determine where that value is for our end and the other end, and also to determine if there are other places that we as council members and representatives of the city may need to be, and or to honestly question, are there some things that maybe we don't need to be at based on changes over time, things that have affected the organizations in question, our relationship to them, with them, going forward. So again, that's part of what I intend to continue to bring is just this thoughtful discussion about what are we doing and where are we engaging to get the greatest value, both from a financial point of view and in terms of time spent, but both to enhance those organizations that we're meeting with and how their activity enhances our community. So further to that, just on a separate vein and just for the public knowledge, we are also, I've been coming in regularly and really promoting many of the benefits that we have in our community. And many of you know that I'm a bit of a fat bike enthusiast. And so I have finally encouraged and many of the staff and council to participate with me on some an event up at Northgate, both where we can grow together as a team and get to appreciate one of the finest new amenities in our community. So that's occurring later on this week. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm hoping staff are or is, because they smile at me, but I'm wondering if that's fearful or not. But I'm fully looking forward to what's coming up. Is there any other comments from any of the staff that are here before we? No, seeing none. Then what I'd like to do then is call the question to accept these reports as they were presented. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? That motion is carried. And then moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council meeting be recessed at 5:47 p.m. I know we missed it by 2 minutes, sorry. So all those in favor?